My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your co-host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for Dave Dubow. And when you're starting real estate, a lot of people go for the low-hanging fruit, single family rental, flip project, maybe they even wholesale something. But my guest today, Tim Woodbridge, he's going to tell you how he just swung for the fences, went straight for a mobile home park. Tim, how are you today?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So that's a big first swing at bat. How many units, how much capital was involved?
Okay. So it was a 36 unit mobile home park. Only 10 of them were occupied. Everyone just basically said, don't go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, it was tiny. So it was a 250 purchase price. Seller carried back 50 and got a bank loan for 175. Partner brought 25. I brought 6,200 for closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, crazy. I mean, granted, at the time it was super crazy. I had no idea how I was going to do it. But like looking back, it's just like, oh, like, yeah, that's relatively straightforward.
I like the idea. Pardon me, I got a little frog in my throat. I like the idea, like people would look at it and say, oh, there's only 10 occupied at 36. That sounds like a problem. But when I heard that, I was like, it sounds like lift. It sounds like I can do something about it. Because sometimes when you occupy multifamilies or mobile home parks, you have a high occupancy and you're only able to make moves during turnover. So what did you do to increase the value of this first venture into real estate?
So I knew like there's 10 to 36 occupied. I knew I had to bring homes in. I didn't know how, but I knew like fundamentally that's what I do. I raise the value by increasing the NOI, and the only way to do that was through bringing in homes. So so we closed end of 2019. 2020 hits and COVID,
Yeah.
and everything shuts down. And Legacy Homes, they said, we're trying to keep our factories open, so we're going to finance 100% of these new homes to any park owner who has any need. And I said, oh shoot, look at that, we have need.
I have a
And
huge need. Yeah.
yeah, so man, we bought 7, and I didn't know I didn't know how. I didn't know the logistics of it, but they said, okay, we'll do this, and then you just have to set them up. And so I didn't know how we were going to do it, but I knew, again, that's what I have to do. So we got the homes in, found a friend of a friend who sets up mobile homes. And so he was doing it. And a lot of it was, shoot, like, we don't have the money to do this. So how about I got to throw some stuff on my credit cards? How about we gotta like, a lot of it was figuring it out and like putting my W-2 income as a nurse into that to get those set up. But anyway, long story short, we got them set up, got them filled up with tenants, and had 2 organic move-ins, meaning people move their own home in. So ended 2020 with 19 to 36 occupied. Again, so we bought it for 250. We did a refi, I'd say in March of 21, and the value went up to 570. So, over double what we paid for. And so we refied, only like a $300,000 refi, very safe refi for the bank. But paid off the old mortgage, paid off that seller finance note of 50,000, paid back my partner the 25, gave us a little bit of money in our pockets, maybe like 14 a piece, nothing crazy, but enough where it's like, okay, we don't have any money in this deal anymore. So yeah, and just from there, I mean, in 22, last year, we bought 6 more homes. So we're at what, 25 and 36 occupied. Um, and then I got a little bit creative because they're all individually deeded lots. So for all the lots that don't have homes on them, I did like a lease with an option to purchase for all those lots. So just with everything, people paying, I'm at like 32 or 36 occupied right now. So I don't know how much of it's worth right now, but I know it's substantially more than what I paid for it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you like most about the mobile home park space?
I mean, I like low expense ratios. I like
Mm-hmm.
when tenants own their homes, so they
Yeah.
have to take care of all the little stuff. I mean, it's crazy going from like a renter's mindset to an owner's mindset. I'll rent to own or lease with an option to purchase a home, and I'll get someone call me, oh, blah blah blah, this is going on with the toilet, and I'm like, it's your issue. But like, just a word of advice, check out YouTube. It's a flapper on the back of your toilet. That's like
Mm-hmm.
not even $5. It's a super easy fix. Or, but basically, yeah, getting people so they're homeowners and so they have a stake in the property. That makes them very sticky, so they'll be there for years. And it gives people a bit of pride of ownership. I mean, you're not gonna generally look and be like, oh, this is a class place, but it's like, oh, there's pride of ownership in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so I like it, and it's like the last bastion of affordable housing, the
Yeah.
non-subsidized affordable housing. So it's like there's a need there, and I'm happy to help fill that need and just create these win-win scenarios. I mean, with these new homes, with the homes I bought in my first park, I got, lease with an option to buy, basically a rent to own. And most of the people were very thankful, like, and
Well,
so
they're brand
like
new, right? They're brand new
they're,
units.
yeah, and they make them nice now.
Yeah, you can't
And
even tell from the interior pictures unless you're standing outside. Like they look just as good as an infill. And essentially new infills are just boxes anyway.
yeah, yeah. So they're all, I saw one of my tenants friended me on Facebook, and I usually don't go for that, but I think I did. I don't know.
Hmm.
And I saw him post like, "Oh, so thankful for this house. So thankful for the opportunity to purchase this house." And I'm like, dude, like that's super meaningful. Like, trust me, I'm making money. I'm doing well, but like that, just making money, it is not fulfilling. Like I need to
Yeah.
make money, and I need to make some kind of impact and some kind of difference. And mobile home parks are helping me do that.
Okay. And so when it comes to like the mobile home space, what do you think your secret sauce is? Like what comes easily to you that other people kind of find difficult when it comes to maybe the acquisition or the management or maybe the whole business in total?
So what's easy to me
Yeah,
is
what's easy to you, it's difficult to a guy like me who hasn't been able to pull the trigger on a mobile home park. What do you find comes easily to you that others find difficult?
so what's easy for me is like taking action. And like, okay, I over there, that's the destination I want to go towards. And it's never like I want to be at that destination. It's just I know that this is where I want to go towards. And so I take action, and I don't know all the details yet, but I figure them out along the way. Um, how that translates now is like I'm great at talking with brokers, and like let's create a win-win deal. Up until this year, I was like, oh no, that's too overpriced. I can't do that. That doesn't make sense. This year, I'm like, okay, how can I do that? How can I get you your price? Let's stop making this me versus you and make it me and you versus the problem of you selling it to me.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm good with that. I am good with being like obsessed with operations. So I got
Okay, yeah.
everything's in-house, like property management company that I've developed. And it's a lot of like, okay, how can we do this better? And like no one talks about operations. It's not the sexy part. But to
Hmm.
me, it's so integral because without good operations, it you can You
Yeah, you
can,
can't run something like that without solid operations, or at least finding someone. It's not like a single family home. Like you got to be on top of that.
yeah, yeah. And so it's, it's always a process. I'm always working to get better, but like I enjoy the process. So it's like that ended destination that I'll never hit. I don't want to hit. I just want to keep moving in the direction.
So yeah, let's talk about that. Where do you want this real estate thing to go for you in the next 12 months? Go over the next
So,
year.
um, I just read the book 10x is easier than 2x. And so
Hmm.
now I'm like obsessed with that, right? Um, so I am not necessarily, oh, I need to 10x in a year, but like maybe that's my 3-year goal. Um,
Hmm.
and like in prior podcasts, people would ask, "What's your goal?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to be 10 times bigger if I have to work 10 times as hard." But after finishing that book, I was like, "Oh, I don't. I have to work less. So I have to do what I'm good at and
Hmm.
hire everything else out." And so in the next 12 months, I rather than like solid number right now, and sure, let's see, I'll be at 300 lots soon. So I mean, over 1,000 in 12 months would be great, as a good goal to strive for. But I want that over 1,000 with a smoothly running company where I can relatively easily look at all my KPIs and be like, this is how we're doing. We have to improve this, or like we're doing great, we're hitting our numbers, our goals, and stuff like that. So it's like a twofold thing.
Hmm. A great, I don't know if you've read it before, Good to Great. That's if you're looking for scaling and you're looking to find the secret sauce of scaling, Good to Great is one that was really interesting to me about how to like not increase 10x the work, but increase 10x the output. So um and you kind of touched on it in the last answer there, but with all that you've accomplished in real estate so far with acquiring these mobile home parks, which a lot of people dream about doing but don't actually pull the trigger on, what would you say your biggest obstacle is now with the business?
My biggest obstacle now is me, right? I'm the bottleneck. I can only do so much. I love I love the creative deal structure, but like I'm looking like my best case scenario would be to work with a ton of people who have like a lot of drive and they don't know exactly what they want to do with mobile home parks or like how to do it, but they're like, man, I've got time, I've got hustle, I want to take it down. And I would love to be like, sweet, let's take it down. You run lead and I'll kind of guide you. I'll show you my systems and what has worked best for me. And we can kind of work on it together, like I'd rather, what is it? I'd rather own 10% of 10 deals and 100% of one deal. Like I
Yeah,
think
it's
we
the
can
old
all,
you can either own a one grape or a half a watermelon. That's the one my mentor used to say. You want one grape or half a watermelon, and half a watermelon is a lot more. So, how do you plan to find those people? What are you doing right now, or even, yeah, what and how are you going to find those people?
I come on the podcast. I pay
Yeah.
someone to do my social media, right? So it's like I am this year very cognizant of being the bottleneck and things. And so I hired a VA, a remote team member to do my social media and just be like, I just want people to know the interesting stuff I'm doing because I'm excited about it. And like, if they're interested, I'd love to talk with them. Um, yeah, doing podcasts like this, saying, if it piques anyone's interest, and reach out, schedule something on Calendly. I'm always down for a Zoom call and like, how's it going? How can I help you? I mean,
Yeah, see where
that's
things go.
again, yeah, yeah, and that's back to what's meaningful is I'm always going to be pushing to make more money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like all about charity, but like what's meaningful is helping people.
Hmm.
Meaningful to me, it's helping people. And I have a friend who's like looking to mentor people, and her mentor told her your ideal person to mentor is you 3 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like I remember that exactly. And I
Hmm.
remember the kind of help that I needed. And man, if I could be that, I like that.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk a little bit about money here. How are you financing or funding these deals these days?
This year I'm getting super creative. So
Hmm.
like,
Lots of
um,
people are, yeah, definitely. So fill us in as best as you can without spilling the secret sauce.
yeah, I mean, there's no secret sauce. The secret sauce is, to me, is simplifying the hell out of it, right?
Hmm.
Income, expenses, uh, NOI minus your debt service, minus whatever investor pref payments or whatever else, then you got your cash flow. Then you can,
Hmm.
divvy that up accordingly. Don't ever negative cash flow, make sure it works. Um, what I think people get hung up on is, well, interest rates are 9% and like I can only get a 60% LTV and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well, how else can you do it? So one example, I got a down payment from Rehab Wallet, amazing hard money lender, expensive money, but like that down payment helped me. So I got the down payment from them, and then the seller carried the rest in like a second, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and it's not a second, it's a promissory note, but whatever, right? So
Hmm.
a different way to do it. And so sure, the hard money's hard, heavy, right? Heavy interest rate, but like my blended cost of capital is only 6.9 and my cap rate is like going in cap rate's 8. So, I got a little bit of a spread and I got some value add to do.
Hmm.
So what I do, I mean, I manage the downside, manage the downside, let the upside take care of itself. Um, Another deal, I mean, we did it more of a straight purchase, where it was, got a investor friend to come in and returns are great. So he brought in like all the money. And so, yeah, we took it down. This year, what's different is I have a really good team that I'm consistently closing deals with and, just that we're partnering with. So unrelated to like my in-house property management, like these guys are, you know, they're rock stars in their own way, and we all are good at a separate thing.
Hmm.
So like one partner is great at like details and numbers. I'm not that guy. If you guys are like, hey, check out my underwriting, man, I'll look at it, but I'm not the best in terms of like quick, like, okay, projections, like details. Um, and then another guy is really good at like negotiations. I'm not good at negotiations. I'm the how can I give you everything you want
Yeah, like
negotiator.
service based. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's just different ways of doing things. And then another one of my partners is like great at, he calls all these like vendors and stuff like that to make sure that we're getting great prices on things we need for like CapEx. And like I'm not as good at it as he is, and I don't have the bandwidth. So yeah,
Hmm.
getting out of my own way.
So as far as your acquisitions so far, would you say you're find the deal first and then the money person second, or do you prefer to kind of have your money lined up and then go looking for deals?
I am a find the deal first kind of guy. Um, I'm not a capital raiser, so I do
Hmm.
have other people on my team who are capital raisers, and I like that because, again, I was stretching myself thin trying to do everything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't I stick with what I'm good at and then bring like we can all partner and all do amazingly. So
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't really, it's find the deal, fund the deal. So when you present your deals to these investors, once you have it all together, um, are you like a numbers forward guy, or do you kind of feel them out? Like, how do you go about doing your presentation, or in the past? Because you're saying you have people who do it for you now, but there was a time in maybe in the past or not so recent past that you had to present your deal to an investor. How do you go about doing that?
right, in the past, haphazardly, that's how I've done it, right? I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey, I need money, and
You have
here's
some,
kind of
yeah.
what it is. And just made a ton of mistakes. That's how I do things. I charge forward and make all the mistakes and then learn from it. Yeah, I remember. Okay, so with mobile home parks, it's a little bit harder because you generally don't put a cap rate on everything. So if there's
Hmm.
park owned homes, like you don't put a total cap rate on it. So I was talking with a friend and he's a great guy. But he was, he's like, well, what's the cap rate? And what's the interest rate? And because I mean, obviously, you want
Yeah,
that a
he's trying to
spread
figure out the
between.
NOI, right? The net operating income.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, well, I don't know, like it's hard to say cap rates with mobile home parks and like I I can know high level that this is going to work, but it takes me a while to actually dig into the numbers. And like I'll do a blank spreadsheet and like super basic method and like put all the calculations and stuff like that in so I understand fully. But like
Hmm.
before I do that, I don't have that kind of grasp on it. So like I just know, okay, this is gonna work. And so that was, one issue that I had. I'm like, oh, I knew the deal, but I didn't know the numbers well, or as well as I should have. Um, geez. Yeah, I mean, other issues just like um I don't play things cool, maybe. So it's like,
Like you
oh, I
show
need
your
money.
excitement. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
excited
yeah,
or
I need
desperate.
money. And I'm
What do they say? You wear your heart on your sleeves, or you show your cards, or whatever. Like your whatever energy, you're like not able to contain yourself, is kind of what you're saying, or not able to
yeah,
hide it
yeah.
so much. Or play poker. You're probably not great at poker then.
No, no. And I
I
I
got a
I
great
don't I don't
hand. I
need
got
to
a
be.
great hand.
Yeah. I'm like of the mindset of like, dude, I want to be open and honest about everything. And so like this is what I need. And then it's like it's too much probably. And you learn things about yourself as you
When
as
did
you
you
move on.
bring in someone to help you with the capital raising? How long have you been doing it that way?
Only since this year, like everything else. So let's see, close the first park with a local guy, who's my current partner. He brought the
Hmm.
25. The second park was equity buyout. Like, so a friend of mine knew some people,
Hmm.
and so like I just came in with some cash. The third park was with the same people, like a few of the same people. That second park is just,
Hmm.
it was a wholesale deal. And then that partner who's really great at details, he brought all the people with the capital. Um, and then, yeah, so let's see, the next four were in the portfolio with the down payment for the hard money. And then the next one was my partner's bringing in that capital. So in the grand scheme of things, like I've pitched things in terms of trying to get capital, but
Hmm.
it hasn't been because of me, as much.
So, for most people to invest significant amounts of capital into businesses, they typically have to like, know, and trust you. You mentioned you had a VA kind of working your socials. Apart from that, or maybe inclusive of that, what do you do to kind of address these things in your business or with your brand?
I am open and honest, and if I don't know, I'll tell someone I don't know. Like I'm not a BSer.
Okay.
It doesn't that doesn't work for me. I can't sleep well at night if I do that. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't know everything. I know the broad sweep of like how this business plan is going to work.
Hmm.
Um, and like I will sit down and come up with a plan, but I want to I want to raise capital from people who know like, okay, there's a little bit of risk. We will do our best to mitigate it, but sometimes stuff happens. And if that stuff happens, they'll be the first to know. I will
Hmm.
not hide that stuff. And really, I like because it's all in person or sorry, in-house property management. It's like I have weekly calls with my people
Yeah, you know
and
what's going on.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, you want to throw a little bit of money in? Here's the Zoom link. We're meeting weekly. If you can make it, sweet. If not, like we'll email you all the docs. And if you have any questions, let's talk. Like, I don't want anyone to think that, they're in the dark about stuff.
Perfect. Well, yeah, that's easy. There's the old adage, right? If you're telling the truth, you never have to remember anything.
Yeah.
It's the it's the liars who have to make a big cheat sheet. So, you know, really appreciated talking to you and finding more about this mobile home park, and really interesting about the financing, how you've been approached it. If people want to connect with you, find out more about Tim, what should they do?
Hit me up on Facebook. I'm Tim Woodbridge and then a ton of numbers.
Hmm.
Really. Hit me up on Instagram, tim.woodbridge. Calendly, y'all can
Yeah.
reach out and we can talk. Calendly.com/Woodbridge Capital. I don't know. I keep things simple. I'm very not formal. If I'm wearing a collared shirt, I'm either at a wedding or a conference where I think I have to dress up. Other than that, I like t-shirts and just being casual.
Yeah, we got the t-shirt on today. Well, time flies when you're having fun, and I really appreciate your time, Tim, and I hope everyone got a little bit of perspective that they could jump right into mobile home parks without having to cut their teeth on a single family home just to figure out that they didn't have to start there in the first place. I really appreciate your time, Tim.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.